You will die one day, and yet you still live like their opinions are the gods you must worship. You censor your truth so you don't upset them. You shrink your presence so you don't outshine them. You hold back your potential because someone might laugh, someone might misunderstand, someone might not clap, and while you're bending to fit in, your time, your only real currency, is vanishing. But the Stoics didn't live like this. They didn't beg for validation. They didn't decorate their lives to impress the crowd. They knew that freedom begins the moment you stop trying to be understood and start trying to be aligned. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Because growth demands that you walk a path others can't see, that you say things people won't like, that you stand tall while they mock, while they judge, while they whisper. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but he wrote in his private journals, not for fame, not for followers, but to keep himself grounded, honest, and unshaken. He didn't care if they praised him. He cared if he lived in line with nature, with truth, with virtue. And that's what the Stoic teaches. You do not exist to be liked. You exist to live rightly. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. Let them doubt. The Stoic walks his path with quiet power, not because others approve, but because his soul does. And that's the formula. Silence the noise, master your mind, and choose what's right over what's popular. That's when you stop caring what they think, not by force, but by clarity. By rising so high in your purpose, their opinions can't even reach you. Number 1. You were not born to be a mirror for others. You were not born to live in reaction. You were not built to be a reflection of others' shallow expectations. But the world teaches you early. Speak carefully, act gently, don't stand out. And so you start to compromise. You begin to shape yourself according to what others find acceptable. You stop expressing your truth to avoid judgment. You suppress your fire to avoid rejection. Slowly, you become a shell. A version of you that pleases everyone but satisfies no one. You give away your authenticity, piece by piece, until you don't even recognize yourself anymore. But here's the Stoic truth. You were not made to please the world. You were made to walk a path with virtue, clarity, and discipline. The more you shape yourself to fit their image, the more your real self dies. And the Stoic refuses to participate in his own extinction. Number 2. The crowd doesn't know where it's going, so why follow it? The crowd is loud, it's seductive, it makes you feel like if you follow it, you'll be safe. But the crowd is not wise, it is confused, it chases what's trending, not what's timeless. One day it praises strength, the next day it labels it toxic. One day it celebrates your honesty, the next it cancels you for the same truth. The Stoic understands this volatility. He knows that the masses do not lead. They follow their emotions. And if you follow them, you become as unstable as they are. The Stoic chooses his values like a sword, once drawn, never dropped. He walks alone if he must, not because he wants isolation, but because he refuses imitation. To follow the crowd is to lose your way. To follow your principles is to find your strength. He doesn't fear being different. He fears becoming forgettable. Number 3. Judgments are just opinions, not reality. You're afraid of being judged. But what is judgment? A mental flicker inside someone else's head, based on their bias, their pain, their filters. It is not a mirror of your truth, but a projection of theirs. People don't see you clearly. They see fragments, a story they invent based on their own distortions. And you start shrinking for a story that was never even yours. The Stoic knows this is madness. He knows that only a fool lets invisible words break his real spirit. Epictetus taught, if someone speaks ill of you, live so that no one believes it. The Stoic responds not with defense, but with demonstration. He doesn't waste time trying to change others' minds. He changes his own character, and that becomes his answer to everything. Number 4, approval is a drug, and most people are addicts. Approval feels good, a compliment, a nod, a round of applause. It feeds your ego like a drug, and like any drug, it begins to control you. You start doing things for attention, for recognition, for the dopamine hit. But the Stoic knows, anything you depend on to feel valuable owns you. Marcus Aurelius ruled millions but still reminded himself that praise is just noise. And noise has no meaning unless you believe it does. The more you chase validation, the further you drift from who you really are. The Stoic breaks the addiction. He lives in alignment, not performance. He asks, would I still do this if no one saw? If the answer is yes, that's freedom. If the answer is no, that's a cage. And the Stoic was born for freedom. Number 5, your peace is worth more than their praise. Praise is temporary. Peace is eternal. The world will applaud you one day and crucify you the next. If your peace depends on their opinions, your inner world will always be at war. The Stoic doesn't trade his soul for approval. He trades his ego for integrity. He asks not, will they like me, but will I respect myself after this? He knows that self-respect is built every time you act from truth, even when no one agrees. And every time you betray that truth to stay liked, you chip away at your own strength. A man who lives for praise is never at peace. But a man who lives for principle? He walks calmly, even through the fire. Number 6. The Stoic lives by principle, not perception. The Stoic doesn't shape his life around how he wants to be seen. He shapes it around who he wants to be. His compass is internal, not external. He speaks truth even when it costs him approval. He walks the hard path even when the crowd laughs. Because virtue is not a decoration, it's a foundation. And once you build your identity on virtue, perception becomes powerless. People can call you arrogant, but you remain humble. They can call you weak, but you remain resilient. They can say anything, and still, you stand. Because you are not reacting, you are living, from principle, from clarity, from power. The Stoic doesn't need to be understood, he needs to be aligned. Number 7. You owe the world your strength, not your conformity. The world doesn't need another fake smile, another man too afraid to speak, another spirit broken by approval addiction. The world needs strength, real, uncomfortable, radiant strength. And that starts with not needing to be liked. The Stoic doesn't aim to fit in, he aims to stand firm. He knows that every time he speaks truth, someone will get uncomfortable. Let them. His goal is not comfort, it's clarity. Not compliance, but courage. He owes the world his highest form, not the diluted version that pleases the crowd. The Stoic is a mirror, not flattering, but honest. And in that honesty, he gives the world something rare. A man who can't be moved. Number 8. Rejection is not failure, it's freedom. They reject you? Good. They misunderstood you? Even better. Because in rejection you find who's real. In being misunderstood, you discover who's shallow. The Stoic doesn't fear rejection, he respects it. It tells him he's no longer living for them. And that is a form of freedom most will never taste. He doesn't contort himself to be accepted, he expands himself to be free. And if that expansion makes some people uncomfortable, that's not his burden, that's their limitation. The Stoic's growth is not a performance, it's a path. Walk it and the right people will walk with you. The rest will fall away. And that's exactly how it should be. Number 9. Time is too short to be a puppet. Every minute spent worrying what they think is a minute lost from who you could become. Every second you waste performing for others is stolen from your purpose. Time doesn't stop for insecurity. It doesn't pause while you gather courage. It burns, whether you live boldly or not. The Stoic watches the flame and chooses urgency. He doesn't wait to be accepted before he acts. He acts and lets acceptance catch up or not. Because when you're dying every day, you stop living for applause. You live for truth. You speak what must be spoken. You do what must be done. You become what you were always meant to be. Free, focused, and fully alive. Number 10. Be so rooted in truth that no storm can move you. The world will try to shake you. It will call you names. It will question your values. It will reward your silence and punish your strength. Let it. The Stoic is not concerned with storms. He is rooted in what cannot be moved. His power is not in how loud he shouts, but in how deeply he stands. In a world addicted to noise, the Stoic is the silence that unnerves. In a world addicted to praise, he is the man who walks past applause. Not cold, not distant, just anchored, in truth, in virtue, in clarity. When you live like this, you don't need to stop caring what others think. You simply grow so far beyond it that you forget to notice it at all. You've spent too long in the prison of perception, chained to opinions, enslaved by approval, afraid to live as yourself. But now you know the truth. No one's opinion can define you unless you hand them the pen. And the Stoic never gives away his pen. He writes his life with intention, with discipline, and with fire. So here's the choice. Live bent for others, or rise aligned with truth. You can't have both. The world will talk either way, so let them talk. You walk. forward, calm, certain, free, because the Stoic doesn't care what the world thinks, he only cares what his soul knows.